Hi, this is Dawn Barkley with Insider Travel Report, and I am at Travel Market 2022, which is AMG's 50th anniversary celebration. And I'm here with David Manning, who is the president and CEO of Extreme Travel, and that is in Allen, Texas. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here. It's an exciting weekend, as it always is. You know, I've been lucky enough to be I think it's been now 20 years ago, I was the host of their 25th anniversary.
Oh, great. So here you are 52 years. This was delayed 2 years, unfortunately, because of COVID. So 22 years ago, you became CEO and president of Extreme Travel. Was that your entree into the travel industry?
It was. Before that, I was in the wrestling business, so I did lots of traveling. But that was, I always say, that wasn't fun traveling. That was a different hotel every night, and you know, you had your routine every day. But I had a good friend that owned a travel company called Travel Works, and we played golf together. And I started hearing about home-based travel agents as he was talking to his agents, and I said, you know what, you need to let me come in and help promote that. And gosh, it's hard to believe. It seems like it was yesterday, but it was in the year 2000, and we launched, and I was fortunate enough within the first year and a half to meet Rick Mazza, and he gave me a lot of good advice, and then he also introduced me to a lot of key people.
So you have been with TRAVELSAVERS for about 21 years?
About 21, 22 years, yeah.
And you are one of the leaders, which is why I am speaking with you today. I have to ask, tell me the similarities between the travel business and the wrestling business.
It's a fight. No, I would say the only big similarities are, I would say, a lot of fun. And as I traveled the world with wrestling, you know, each night we got to see all the different people in the arenas. And I wish I would have been in the travel business because, you know, you can work the travel business part-time. And back then, if I would have known that, I would have definitely been a home-based agent and on the side meeting all those people saying, hey, when's your next vacation? You know, let me help you with it.
Wonderful. So next question. Exactly what excited you about TRAVELSAVERS that brought you into the fold?
When I heard about, you know, as coming into the travel business, I didn't know a lot about, you know, TRAVELSAVERS or Rick Mazza, and the gentleman that, as I say, I kind of joined forces with at that time, and later I bought his company out. I was asking him, I was like, you know, I want to get good mentorship, and I want to meet, you know, the right people, and I would like to tell the story of how I would like to create this host agency. And he said, I can open the door if you want to fly up to Oyster Bay. I might could get you a meeting with Rick Mazza, and he's probably the go-to guy in travel. And so I didn't waste any time. I booked, and Rick was nice enough to meet with me, and I'll never forget, he and myself and his son Jim, we all sat in the conference room, and I went over my vision of what I wanted to accomplish, and then Rick jumped right in with, you know, how he would tweak it and critique it a little bit, and then the rest was history. I went home and I launched the company, and it's been a successful 22 years. And don't kid me, it's been a roller coaster, as we all know. But the good thing about travel, it's whether it's someone, I used to say this, it's crazy, I would say whether it's someone going to a resort, getting on a cruise, or maybe someday going to the moon. And it looks like now we're getting close to going to the moon.
So does TRAVELSAVERS have a preferred supplier for moon travel?
I know they can find one if they, you know, TRAVELSAVERS, it's crazy because I'm one of those that always try to look, where's the next trend?
Yeah.
And the good thing about being with TRAVELSAVERS is you don't have to do as much looking because they're already 2 or 3 steps ahead of most people when they're finding the next best supplier to be involved with, the next best vendor to bring on board. So it kind of makes our life easy out there. We just go do what we do best and sell travel.
What are some of your favorite programs that have brought the greatest value to your bottom line?
I think the biggest value, and a lot of people probably don't even really mention it, that TRAVELSAVERS brings to any agency, especially a startup agency, a new agency, is you want to work with the top vendors around the country. And the problem is, as a new, quote, agency or a new agent, you're not going to get top commission. But by being involved with TRAVELSAVERS, that was the first thing they were able to bring to the table. maybe it's a vendor I've never booked with before, but because they're affiliated with Travel Savers and I'm affiliated with Travel Savers, it enabled me to start out at top commissions with them, which made my agents happy. So it gives more pie to share. And then when you look at the cruise booking engines they put together, the travel platforms, the hotel platforms, now the training they brought to the table, I always tell my agents, you cannot get enough knowledge in our industry and be able to compete. You've got to always be able to look around the corner of what's coming and what's around the corner. And I think Travel Savers enables people to do that.
And as one of the leaders of Travel Savers, what are you doing that sets you apart from the other agents, either in the consortium or in your local market?
Well, the one thing is, and I actually trained on this several years ago at one of the breakout sessions at Travel Market, is I'm one of the first one that started basically saying, hey, I don't care if it was a friend of mine, if it was someone booking with me, if you will refer me travel, if you know anyone taking a vacation, anyone that wants a trip, you refer them to us, I will give you a piece of the commission. And so we started creating what we called referral travel. And so what it enabled people was, it was a way to make extra money without doing anything but saying, wait a minute, you want to go on a trip? I know who you need to call. And they call over and say, hey, Bob referred me over and said you guys could help me with a trip. Well, guess what? If we fulfilled it, they took the trip, commission came in, I was willing to send Bob 20% of that commission. And that really helped us grow our business. And so I actually trained on that, telling agents, you got to think outside the box. And because I have found it's nice to have the agents that have been around years and years, but some of them are kind of stuck in the box.
Yeah.
And the days of someone walking through a brick and mortar and saying, hey, I want to book travel, that's hard. Yeah. But the days of tying into someone's PTA or tying into someone's gym or their golf buddies, if you can do that, you're going to find a lot of travel. And I have a lot of brand new agents go through our training, get started, and within a year, they're booking more travel than some of my old-time agencies.
Wow, fantastic. So what are you hoping? We're at 52 years here at AMG. What are you hoping is going to come out of the next 50 years? What would you like to see AMG provide to you?
Well, first of all, I'd like to be here for that one.
We all would.
And, I just want them to keep doing what they're doing. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Yeah. And when you look at, what Rick's done, I call him the GOAT of travel. And then you look at behind every great company is a team, and you got Nicole, and you got Catherine, and you got Jim, and then you look at all the team behind them. You're in good hands, and I just love it that they're just like today. In our general session, we see some of the things they're already looking to add, and as Nicole said, you got 19 affiliates out there, and let's add more brands. And so I think within 50 years, I think Travel Savers will not only be worldwide as they keep opening up more and more and more countries where they're actually in that country, but I think they're going to help us all be able to minimize the effort we have to put forth to create a great agency or a great host company. And that goes as far as training, everything else they bring to the table.
Perfect. Now, you're speaking tomorrow. What will you be telling your fellow AMG affiliates?
Well, Steve Phillips and Melissa were down in Dallas when I did my Travel Mania. Every year I do my big event. I call it Travel Mania, and I come from WrestleMania. And they saw one of my training. They were like, you've got to do that at one of the big conventions. And so tomorrow, it's basically, I'm going to discuss what's in your head, because I don't care how much knowledge you have. I don't care what kind of location you're in. I don't care how many tools you have. If your head's not right, you're not going to be successful. And so I want to help everybody in the room tomorrow overcome. I call it men, little men and little women in your head. You always say, usually you'd see you got the good and the bad sitting on the shoulders, and the good saying, do this, oh, well, you're great. The bad saying, oh, no, do this. Well, it's the same thing in your head. And I want them to get all of the bad thoughts out of their head, and I want them to get the right team in their head. And if they can do that, and then bring their belief system. And the key is, I don't care what we learn here this weekend. I don't care what your thought process is. You have to take action. And that's the main thing I want them to leave here is take all of the knowledge they learned this weekend and put it into action. I have a saying, I say, thoughts determine what you want. Action will determine what you get.
Great. And one final question. Who is your favorite wrestler and who would make the best travel advisor in your opinion?
It's probably two separate people, but he's great friends with me is Ric Flair. And I was just at his roast and his final match, and Rick and I have been all over the world together. So we've traveled the world together. I don't know if he'd be a good travel advisor. Maybe if you're wanting to know all the great locations for after the matches to go visit. But I was also, I grew up in the business with the Von Erichs. There's only one, unfortunately, left, and that's Kevin. He lives over in Hawaii. So believe me, he knows how to live a vacation life. I always say your life is a vacation. He lives in Kauai, and he's got about 20 acres there, and his whole family, it's like a compound. And so if I wanted a travel advisor, I'd have to say I might use Kevin for that.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. I'll look forward to hearing your talk tomorrow. And thank you for speaking with me. This is Dawn Barkley, Insider Travel Report.